So I'm going to move on, and we're going to start talking about being able to use our fast tracks and the things that we want to do when a new case comes in. One of the options that we have nowadays is allowing us to add the status of a case and having those statuses associated to fast tracks, and also those fast tracks being associated to have templates associated to it. So when I choose the initial intake, it asks me, do I want to send a status to the Notes tab? If you say yes, what it does is it makes a line entry in the Notes tab to let anyone else know that the status field has changed, who changed it, what they changed it to. Now when I go to the Docket tab, it asks me, the following fast track will be applied to the current case. Would you like to continue? Yes, because I have certain things that I want done when initial intake is done, and I want those things to appear. So yes. So now when I go to the Docket tab, I've got send medical authorization to the client. So I can double click, open that entry up, and there's the create document because I have my medical authorization associated to that docket entry. So I can create document. It'll bring the detail window up for correspondence because that's where I have my medical authorization at. Who am I sending it to? And create. There it is. I can then edit this document any way I want. It's a Word document. I can close it. And if you notice, it's not completed yet. As soon as I close the detail window, it's going to mark that item that I've completed it. So now I can go into the send fee agreement to the client. Create that document. So again, just from changing the intake status, I can have a fast track applied, which then I can also have documents generated or created. Who am I sending this fee agreement to? Lily Blue. Go ahead and create it. And there's my fee agreement. Now it's been completed. So my welcome letter to the client. So once I've completed that, it asks, do I want to send the executed fee agreement and authorizations received? Sure I do, because I want to follow up and know that those things have been executed and sent back to us. Do we want to send initial intake status SMS to the docket? Yes. So if we want to send that initial SMS, we can always put that number in and get the number that we want to send it to. Okay? I can right-click, send a text, choose that quick fill, the welcome intake. And again, you guys can set these quick fills up to do whatever you want. So if it's something that you're constantly texting out or sending text, you can easily send that or set that as a quick fill and send it. If you get this message, it is just Outlook saying, hey, something's trying to mess with us, or some other program's trying to send something out of Outlook and we don't know what it is. Just hit allow, because it allows it to go ahead and Outlook to send it out, because that text message is sent via email. Good? So then I can go back into the Docket tab. Go ahead and say, yes, I know we sent that. And then also check and make sure our executed fee agreement and authorizations have been received. Once they are received, we definitely want to make sure that we're putting them in our Clients tab. Fee agreement and our executed HIPAA authorization. So then in the case info, I can then proceed to the next substatus. So if I've decided the decision to proceed is gone ahead, we can choose our status here, decision to proceed to litigation. Just like it did when we did the initial intake, it's going to say, hey, do you want to send the substatus to the notes tab to let someone know that, hey, Eric changed it on this date at this time to this status or substatus? Yes. Then when I go to the docket, it asks me, do I want to add that, the decision to proceed, fast track? Yes. So now I have all of my other items on the fast track that also, again, have documents associated to it. So I can open that item up, create notice of deposition and letter to counsel. I can go ahead and create document. It's going to bring up my deposition detail window, so I can go through and add my date, add my time, who are we deposing, where are we deposing them at, enter our court reporter, our videographer, come down. We've got our notice already chosen, so I can create my dep notice. It creates my dep notice for me. Then once I'm done, because I also want to create my letter to opposing counsel, I can hit the drop down here, notice of deposition letter, and create my notice letter. Without ever leaving this one detail window, I can create those two documents right off the bat. Now it's there. I can close the door. And again, it's going to mark that as completed. So if I need to draft request for production, it's got my docket detail window, and down below, I've got create document because again, I've got my request for production template associated to that fast track entry. Brings me my discovery entry, my request for production, create. And there it is. Close. It's going to mark it as completed, and then I can just keep moving. Draft interrogatories. And again, all of these things are here, and you can associate any templates to those docket entries and fast track entries. And then my summons, draft my summons and complaint. And again, it's bringing up from pleadings to discovery to deposition, all the different tabs that we're using or associating, it's allowing us to do that. Good morning, sir. And create, and it allows me to create my summons and complaint. So once I'm done with my summons and complaint, do you want to add file summons and complaint to the docket? Yes. Then it's telling me I need to file those things. So when we created those notes, or every time I changed those fields, you can see every time we did something that was associated. I changed the field. I created my HIPAA document, my fee agreement, my welcome letter, send my SMS text, change the field. It goes through and tells you everything that's going on or what's happened every time you make those adjustments or changes. Good? Is there any questions at all? Brian?
Yes.
No problem.
Oh, sorry. You take care of in room and then let me know when you're ready for another one.
No, he's saying go ahead with you. Yes?
All right. Is that where people can send you stuff or put stuff into their file? How does that work?
So the question was about the UDF. Can people send us files and do things like that? The UDF, or the user-defined form, is a way for you to set up fields that may not be in TrialWorks that you want to do. So say I'll use the BP oil spill. There was a certain purple form that the government sent out that said these people had to meet this criteria. That's not in TrialWorks. We would have never known 20 years ago that this was going to happen 10 years ago. So the UDF allows you to create that form in TrialWorks. So you can have those specific fields for those type of cases. So when you say BP oil spill, it gives you that UDF so you know to ask this criteria of questions. Does that help?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, Brian.
All right, we've got a question from Harvey Williams. Are the templates you are using already in our program? How do we associate our templates? How do we upload?
Okay, so yes, all of the templates that I was using when we were creating those docket entries from the fast tracks were associated. So when we go to and again, this is mainly for administrators because only administrators can set up the fast tracks. So under settings, fast track, when I chose the doc generation initial intake, if you look to the far right, you see the template. I can choose the template that I want associated with that line item. I want to let everyone know, too, that this is in version 11.3. So if you go to help and you look to the far right, you'll see 11.2, 10.9, whatever version you may be on. If you're not on 11.3, please request the upgrade to 11.3. So once you get 11.3, you also get the template options here. Then you also get the tag that's just to the right that I can say when I choose this fast track, when I choose this status. So when I chose initial intake, I told it I wanted to use this fast track. When I chose the decision to proceed, I wanted to choose this fast track. And then the decision to proceed, I had all of those items set up, and those are the templates that I wanted associated with it. Correct. Those templates would already have to be into your system and being used and set up. Brian, I think that answers that three-part question.
Yes, sir, and that's all I've got for now.
All right. I think the only one that we may have missed was how do we get templates into TrialWorks? And again, if you've got a Word document, that you've set up, say this is a template that you wanted to do for your HIPAA, you can always go to File, Save As in TrialWorks, tell it you want it to be a template, tell it you want it what library or where do you want it to appear in what tab, and then what template category do you want it in. If you file to TrialWorks, it will file that into your TrialWorks template library. I saw a hand raised. Brian?
No, I think
Eric,
someone just clicked the button
no,
and put it back down.
I'm going to ask a little question. Somebody asked about SMS. Eric, could you please show where the SMS messages go when the client returns that SMS back to you, where it's stored in TrialWorks and where it's received?
So what happens is if you go to email, you would see the email or the text message that was sent. When they send it back, they also will, as you see here, that text message came back to me. I can double click, hit the drop down, tell it the case I wanted to go to. It will try to auto associate the case because it recognizes what case you sent that text from. So it wants to auto associate it right back to that case, and I can file to TrialWorks. If you do the file to TrialWorks, once you close that email, it will come out of your inbox and go into that email tab of that case. So now I see where I sent that person a text and where they responded.
Eric, we broke into your going through associating template with TrialWorks.
Yes?
What you just showed would put the form into templates, but without the fields to insert, obviously, the case information.
A lot of people, okay, the question was, if you're doing the template and just putting it in, it wouldn't have had the fields or the bookmarks set in the template already. Some firms are go ahead and creating those templates on their desktop, and then they're filing them in. So they're setting it up and then making it a template, including the bookmarks. You can always add the bookmarks whenever you want. So even if you get it and you're like, I got to get it in right now, you go ahead and transfer it, then you can go into templates and set up the bookmarks. Or if you get the document and you're like, let me go through and I want to put this together right now and make it nice and pretty, and then I'm going to put it in a TrialWorks. So you can do it either way. It will. In fact, we have directions on how to do Adobe PDF templates. If you need that, please let us know and we can definitely help you. And I can send you those directions. The question was, does TrialWorks take PDF fillable forms? Yes. And we have directions that we can send. Anybody that requests or asks for those, we can send those out, no problem. Diane, does that help you with your question?
It does. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Brian, we good in cyberspace?
I think we are, and we're coming right to the end of this section for our agenda. So I would say let's keep going.
Awesome.